Smell us now, lady.
Welcome to MeatEater Trivia.
MeatEater Podcast.
Welcome to MeatEater Radio Live. Today is Thursday, August 14th. It's 11 a.m. Mountain Time here in Bozeman, Montana. That's 9 a.m. in Tallahassee, Florida, the new black bear hunting capital of the country. I'm your host, Randall Williams, and I'm joined today by Spencer Neuharth and Cory Calkins.
Hey!
Today's show, we're going to hear about some fascinating firearms from our friends at Rock Island Auctions. We've got another hot tip-off for you. We're getting together the old MeatEater Movie Club to discuss the film Wild America, and we will wrap everything up with a little segment we like to call Top 3. Cory, Spencer, how are you fine gentlemen doing today?
Doing great.
Very good. Very excited to get to our top threes.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, you've got to wait because we've got three wonderful segments before that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the MeatEater Movie Club because I know it obviously a banger of a film, and I know you have some wonderful notes for
It's a fan favorite, I think.
A
And,
fan favorite. How did this recommendation come to you?
oh no, I'm sorry. I'm talking about MeatEater Movie Club. Got Phil.
Good.
You always do.
Good.
No, I actually, the film was recommended by a couple. It was in a couple of emails to us, and I remember watching it when I was little, and the only thing I could remember is the climatic scene in the bear cave. So we'll get to all that.
Can I make a request for Movie Club?
Sure.
Would you rank all of the movies we've done? Not right now, but like in some future episode, maybe at the end of the year.
I think that's
Just
a tremendous idea.
Do a recap. Here's the best and here's the worst.
Oh,
Maybe you've got some awards, like best cinematography goes to Wild America.
We can call it not the Razzies.
Randys.
The Randys. That's great.
There we go.
We could
Wow.
just have a whole episode where I just reread all of the bits
Okay.
that I've done.
We need some shows over Christmas break.
We do.
so-
Yeah, that'll be some good filler. Now, before we get too far, we have a couple of exciting new things to announce here. Today, actually, Rich Froning's In Pursuit podcast just took over what used to be the Cutting the Distance podcast. So you can join Rich every Thursday on the MeatEater Podcast YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And at this very moment, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, the MeatEater YouTube channel has launched a video recap of the Mountain Men tour that Steve and I did earlier this year. We went around to a couple different universities in the West and talked about our MeatEater's American History Mountain Men audiobook. And Steve and I also got to visit a Museum of the Mountain Men in Pinedale, Wyoming. And we got to shoot some black powder guns. And
The video shows you boys.
it
shooting
does.
guns.
It does. It actually shows my very first attempt at shooting a flintlock rifle.
You say attempt.
It went poorly.
Oh, okay.
There was I was prepared for the delay between the flash and the pan and the
Hang
and the
fire,
full
is that
shot.
what it's called?
It wasn't a full on hang fire, but by the time the rifle discharged, I was pointing it elsewhere. I was pointing it at the ground. My
Okay.
flinch had already hit me, so it's embarrassing. And I had hoped they'd cut that from the film, but that is included. And certainly, Steve had some choice words to say at that
To
moment.
you?
Yes,
Okay.
he was tickled. He was tickled by my failure to hit the target.
You can see that now on the MeatEater YouTube channel.
Indeed.
Also, we have a note from Mark Kenyon in the chat. He would like everyone to know that there are brand new Wired to Hunt hats and T-shirts in the store.
A shameless plug from Mark
I don't know if they're
Kenyon.
in the store at this moment or if they're coming. Mark, let us know.
It's
Thanks
Yanni's
for
favorite
hanging
hat.
out.
Yanni wears that hat every day. I see him at the office.
You see him at the office every day?
Every day that I see him at the
Yeah.
office.
So once a month.
It's an important distinction.
It's his favorite hat from our selection.
Excellent.
I could butt in here and say the hats and shirts are available. So make
Hey,
Mark
thanks,
happy.
Cory.
Jeez, another shameless plug. Let's get away from the commercial nastiness of this whole enterprise and get into the good stuff here. Speaking of historical firearms, to connect the thing I had just said a few minutes before we got into the T-shirt selling to the upcoming segment, for our first and only guest on today's show, we're talking to Kevin Hogan, the president of Rock Island Auction. Kevin, welcome to the show.
What's up, boys? We got hats and T-shirts too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah. Where can we find those? RockIslandAuction.com?
No, you actually got to come here and buy them. We're not that advanced yet, but we're proud of them too.
So could you tell us where you are? And I know you got a couple guns to show us, but you could tell us a little bit about where you are in the auction that these guns will be in.
Yes, sir. So we're in Bedford, Texas. I'm Kevin Hogan, president of Rock Island Auction Company. We're located in Bedford, Texas. We've been in business for 30 years. We were kind of we were in Illinois for up until 2023, and then we moved down here to the Lone Star State, and it's been great. So we're right in the middle of DFW. We're 30 minutes from Fort Worth, 30 minutes from Dallas, 10 minutes from DFW Airport. We got down here as soon as we could, so it's been absolutely wonderful. We handle the finest guns in the world. We do it 3 times a year, and we got a great sale this weekend. So we'll be selling Friday through Sunday.
Excellent.
Kevin, being in Texas seems like what I would imagine to be like the core of the demographic of your buyers. Is that the case? Is it very Texas?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, like, country is countrywide, right? And I mean, we have 34 countries that'll participate in our sales. But, Texas it's not the best gun culture in the United States. It's the best gun culture in the world. And, you draw that line from Dallas to San Antonio to Houston. You got the Golden Triangle there. I mean, there's 9 million people here in DFW. And, more and more, there's more business done in the deer blind here than there is on the golf course. And it's been a great place for us to be. But if you break it down, by population densities, I mean, we're from the formerly great state of Illinois. And I mean, Illinois is a great state, but you just have, 30 miles surrounded by reality, which is Chicago. But it's population densities that buy guns. So Texas is number 1, but California is number 2. Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, all right up there. It's population densities.
Interesting. Can you tell us about the first firearm you have to show us here?
Sure, man. We got some fun stuff. So everything I'm going to show you, we're going to start selling tomorrow. This is lot number 44. We'll sell it within the first 30 minutes tomorrow morning. We start selling at 9 a.m. Central Time. This is Steve McQueen's Mare's Leg. I don't know how much introduction it does or doesn't need to the viewers. For me, I'm 37 years old. What does Steve McQueen mean generationally to my generation? What does it mean to that baby boomer generation? But this gun, for so many, we've had it on display for 3 weeks. I mean, we've had people come from around the country to kind of pay homage to it. The imagination that it inspired them, right, when they were a youth, kind of how they've formulated their lives. It's meaningful to a lot of people. Steve McQueen, the king of cool. This was the Mare's Leg from his show, Wanted Dead or Alive, and we sold some really cool like pop culture items. I'm looking forward to this one. Most notably, we had Han Solo's original blaster from the original Star Wars movie, New Hope. We actually made the Guinness Book of World Records with that gun. That gun brought just over $1 million. We had John Wayne's single action, his favorite kind of screen used gun that he used in Rio Bravo, True Grit, Rooster Cogburn. But Steve McQueen strikes a different chord with people, obviously, again, the king of cool. And I think, this gun kind of embodies that. It's because at the end of the day, it is cool.
Can you I've always been curious. Can you tell us about the origin of the term Mare's Leg? I mean, it typically refers to lever action that's been shortened and then the stock has been cut off just below the sort of wrist of the stock. But do you know about the history of that term?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think just from the visual, you could say it's there. But what we were reading is I think it's in his autobiography. He's talking about the development of this gun with Kenneth Von Dutch, which is just another cool piece of American pop culture, the famous fabricator. And McQueen was a method actor. And so he took, they made 3 of these. He took one of the original examples that didn't have the plug barrel, because this is a blank firing gun only. He took it to the range. And I think the one that he said he was shooting was like a 45-70. And kicked like a mare's leg was basically it. So apart from the visual, yeah, they said even this gun on the blank load, it was so short and so powerful they had to like shorten the blank load that they were doing to like a third of the power.
That's great. That had never occurred to me, but certainly the experience would probably bring to mind getting kicked.
Absolutely.
What have you got for your second gun here today?
So, also we're selling this sucker tomorrow. Smith & Wesson, new model number 3. That letters to Annie Oakley. So if you take a look, like just a few things you can see this like shotgun sight on the front, and it's a smooth bore. So the gun was made in 1895, and it was shipped directly to Annie Oakley. And so like we get a lot of like historical guns that get run past us, and provenance is everything. And like my story's not like great, but it's almost every time we get a historic gun. I mean, for every historic gun we sell, there's 50 or 75 that we don't, because they don't quite meet muster. But like, you know, the great cinema classic Half Baked, and he's talking about how he bought Jerry Garcia in a pouch, and he said,
Yes.
how do you know that? Or who told you that? It's the guy that sold it to me. And so, you know, there's so many like
Right.
so many stories about guns, but provenance is everything. Unfortunately, some of the stuff's real and it's lost to time, space, and history. But this one letters right from the factory to Annie Oakley as a smooth bore, and she's as relevant now as she was, you know, in 1895 when the gun was made. She would, if you think about it, she was really like one of the first real international female superstars. I mean, she was for her shooting prowess, and she was tough as nails too. She tried to raise a regiment of all female sharpshooters, both in the Spanish-American War and in World War I. She was tough. I mean, she started fishing, hunting, and trapping when she was 7 years old, and did it for the right reasons. They were putting food on the table. She was tough, and so it's pretty. I mean, you think about what this gun saw. This is 1895. She's 35 years old. She's 5 foot on paper, 100 pounds soaking wet, and sitting bulls watching her, you know, shoot this gun, you know, and he's the one that tagged her Little Miss Sure Shot.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Could you tell us what you expect the that pistol to make at auction? And also, I forgot to ask you about the mare's leg too. Do you have an expected valuation of those?
Yeah, the mare's leg, I think we got in at around like 50 to 75,000 as a low estimate. It's really hard to comp some of this stuff, right?
Sure,
so you have an intrinsic value exercise versus history, but our estimate on the mare's leg is 50 to 75. Annie Oakley, I believe, is 60 to 90,000. We have sold several Annie Oakley guns. I mean, that was her craft. Guns were her tools. She had a lot of guns. Most of those have been lost to time, space, and history, but they were actually hers. But we've sold Annie Oakley guns for huge dollars. We've never sold a revolver. I mean, typically you think of Annie Oakley, you think of like a 22 1890 Winchester or a shotgun. Yeah, I mean, I expect it to be spirited. I don't have a crystal ball. I'll tell you tomorrow night when it's all said and done.
Excellent. And what to wrap things up here, what's the third and final item you got?
Yeah, this is. I mean, when we say we handle the finest guns in the world, that's what you're looking at here. This is the best Marlin that we've ever had. We've been in business for 30 years. We handle the best guns in the world, but this is as good as it gets for what we do. Fine and historic firearms collecting. We trademarked the phrase "not all art is framed." I mean, this is for that very reason. It's a Conrad Frederick factory engraved gold and platinum midlay. It's a Marlin model of 1893, manufactured in 1896. And apart from it being, you know, jaw-droppingly beautiful and extremely rare, and likewise extremely expensive, it's kind of a neat story. It was maintained by the same family in Connecticut for well over 100 years, just been passed down as a family heirloom. You know, it's like the owner would take it to the gun shop once every 2 or 3 years to have him oil it. He didn't feel comfortable doing it. And, you know, naturally people start showing up at the gun shop and offers start getting made. And I think it went from $5,000 to $8,000 to $12,000 to $15,000. And when we talk to these folks, do you think it could bring 30 grand? And I think that gun's going to set a world record for a Marlin 1893. I think it's going to blow past $150,000 pretty quick.
You had talked about the Annie Oakley gun and if it would pass the muster. What is the authentication process like when you get a gun that was supposedly owned by a famous person like that?
So this one made it easy. You can contact like Smith and Wesson. They have their factory archive and their factory ledgers. Now, what they were doing back then, if someone was having a bad day, what was being recorded, what wasn't being recorded, there wasn't a great standardization, but this gun lettered specifically as shipped to Annie Oakley, right from the factory to her, and that's as good and solid as you can get. I think it's also worth mentioning, this gun, I believe it was discovered at a gun show. I think the gentleman purchased it for $2,000. It was unknown, and then he did the legwork on getting a letter from the factory and it going straight to her. But
that's incredible,
and we see it in everything. I mean, what human error and people. I mean, like Colt, very famously, the Colt records burned in 1861, 1862. The factory had a huge fire, and we lost all their records. Winchester has really good records. Unfortunately, Marlin has poor records, but luckily with this gun, Smith & Wesson had the records.
We Steve and I have been working on an audio book about the buffalo hunters, and I think one of the more fascinating sources that you can come across. There's a whole archive from the Sharps Rifle Manufacturing Company that they have all these letters from buffalo hunters, and it's just amazing that those records are maintained by those companies, and then all of the little tidbits you can pull out of it.
Absolutely. It'll shock you both ways, like what we have and then what we don't have. I mean, I think we did, one of our guys did one of your shows previously, and we had it was a 70 caliber Hawken rifle that came out of Sagamore Hill, out of Roosevelt stuff. And in Teddy's own writing, it said Kit Carson's rifle. But like where the connection was or wasn't to Kit Carson was lost to time, history, and space. But in Teddy's own hand, it was Kit Carson's rifle. It very well, it probably was, but we couldn't place it there. And that's kind of the frustration you get on chasing down historic guns and trying to, you'd like it to be as simple and straightforward as if this gun shipped from Springfield, Mass to Annie Oakley in 1895. Unfortunately, that's not always the case.
Fascinating. That Marlin you pulled up, that looked like an engraving of a deer on the side of it. Can you describe for our viewers sort of what the visuals are like on the receiver?
Yeah, so we call it it's a panel scene. So on your loading gate side, we have a running deer. Then you can see like the oak leaf and acorn pattern. Then you can see the multi precious metals. When I roll it, you can see gold and platinum.
Wow.
And then the large panel scene is a bull moose and a cow. And when I roll it, you can see the condition. And condition and what we do is like location real estate. It's condition. And this is a time capsule. And so like you can see the gold inlay on the hammer, the carving and the checkering on the wood. I mean, Marlin, Colts and Winchesters are always what we consider the blue chip of fine and historic American firearms collecting. You always think of Colts and Winchesters, but Marlin is to lever actions like Smith and Wesson is to the revolvers on the Colt single actions, and Marlin doesn't get the credit that it deserves. The artist, and I say that in every sense of the word, who engraved that gun, Conrad Frederick Ulrich, actually started at Winchester and then would move to Marlin and become their head engraver. And they gave him way more creative freedom on his guns. He'll sign a lot of his stuff. A lot of his great guns are signed, and a lot of them are hidden signatures. So it's really neat. But
wow.
You think of that as like the ultimate artistry when you're chiseling steel. I mean, there's no such thing as a mistake. And you think back then, this is pre-electricity.
Right.
You're doing stuff in modern. And I mean, it's natural light and candlelight. This isn't. There's no technology. It's very, very basic and simple. So I don't. Modern engravers don't have what these guys did.
That's incredible. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for your time and for sharing those guns with us here. And good luck this weekend. We'll be curious to see what those end up selling for.
Absolutely, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boy, my gun budget is lacking.
Oh boy.
Do you own any historic guns?
None at all.
Is it like on your radar? Is it like an aspirational thing to come in possession of?
Not really. I mean, I enjoy going to firearms museums and looking at guns, and especially something like that where you can sort of marvel at the artistry. But
yeah,
I don't know. Guns for me are very utilitarian. They're just sheer novelty. But I still want to fire them. You know, I don't want anything that I could have to lock up and keep pretty.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to shoot that marlin.
No, never.
Yeah.
I mean,
Value would go down, I imagine.
Oh, I think so.
It's too beautiful.
Alrighty. Sorry, I got a phone call and moved my browser around. So let me just pull that back up and get back into the swing of things here.
We're live.
Our next segment is a hot tip-off.
H-O-T-T-I-P-off. Let's all do a hot tip-off. H-O-T-T-I-P-off. Let's all do a hot tip-off.
Yes, let's.
Speaking of artistry, wonderful, Phil. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hot Tip-Off is where two listeners go head-to-head with competing pieces of advice. And after we hear each tip, we'll declare which one is hotter. If you have a hot tip, take a 1-minute video on your phone and email it to radio@themeateater.com with the subject line Hot Tip-Off. This week, we have Austin Rhines versus Joshua Ross, and they are competing for a $100 Meat Eater store gift card. You can get a pile of killer Meat Eater shirts, hats, and hoodies with $100. And a little birdie told me that select logo wear will be BOGO next week, or buy one, get one.
OMG.
That's huge news, gang. Huge news. Phil, take it away.
Joshua Ross.
Hey, I'm Joshua Ross from upstate New York, and this is my hot tip. If you're just getting into waterfowl or you're stretched a little thin, you can maximize your floater spread, turn them into some land decoys. Under 30 bucks with some dollar store paper towel holders and a couple cans of Rust-Oleum. All you do is start with this, bend it down into this shape, spray paint it to match your decoys, maybe add some orange for some feet. Go ahead, slide it on to the keel.
Yes.
Stick it in the gravel, sand, embankment, and then boom, you turn your floaters into some land decoys, some field decoys, and you can put some in the water or leave some up on the shore. This is what it should look like. Tan, orange feet. That's my hot tip.
Love it.
My God.
Austin Rhines.
Hey, Meat Eater crew, this is Austin from Arkansas, and I've got a hot tip for y'all. I recently moved from Oklahoma back to Arkansas, and I had a little bit of an issue. I got my shoulder mounts and my dead heads and my European mounts, and I didn't want them to get damaged in the moving process, so I came up with an idea. Go down to your local Walmart and get you some of those $5 pool noodles real cheap. And I don't know about the size bucks that y'all are killing, but for me, the ones I'm killing are, you can get about 1 pool noodle for every 2 deer. And I got a whole pile over here that I'm going to get started hanging up on the walls and decorating. That's my hot tip. Hope y'all like it. Y'all have a good one.
Oh my God, I love that guy.
I could feel the burn from both those hot tips.
Yeah.
2 of the hottest tips we've ever gotten.
Strong.
If
They're
you are
good.
listening or watching at home, those should be aspirational videos.
Yes.
Strong submissions.
For
Strong
you,
submissions.
when you send us a hot tip,
The poll is live, by the way.
Poll is live,
Get
so
in the live chat.
hop in there, gang.
ask yourself: Is my hot tip as hot as Josh's or Austin's when you send a hot tip? Because those were perfect.
Yeah, and just it's so fortunate that they went head to head because this I think is a tough decision here, tough contest.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
Any initial thoughts, gentlemen?
I like Austin's. That is creative. I've never seen that. But I love Joshua's, the dollar store decoy legs to turn your floaters into field decoys. Super clever, super cheap. It's like a problem solving thing. I'm all about Josh's. Josh's would have my vote. Big fan.
Yeah, both very thrifty, which this
Yes.
day and age got to be thrifty. Use what you got.
You know,
It's tough.
yeah, I think for me, what might tip it towards Joshua is that I wish Austin had included whatever he uses to protect the nose.
That's what I was
of his
thinking.
skulls. Because when I move, I'm not so much worried about the antler points. I'm worried about the nasal cavity. I just had one fall off the wall. The other day.
Who
Yeah.
hung it there?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh no.
I did, and it knocked another one off. That was fine. And but the one shattered the nose bone, and I just feel like as a society we need to come together and figure out a way to make those things bulletproof.
That gave me shivers.
I know.
That 2 Euro mounts.
Wildest thing.
Yeah,
We're sitting there watching television, you know, as we do every night for a few hours, and just heard a noise in the other room. Said, "My God, what is that?"
You just assume it's dogs.
Yeah, I
with your
assumed it was
living
dogs. The dogs
situation,
were
right?
all doing what they're supposed to do, which
Oh.
is just laying on their sides in front of us.
Okay.
And yeah, this one was hung at about 6'6" on the wall, and it fell down and knocked one down that was at about 5'6".
Damn.
And then they hit my computer monitor.
Wow.
And I don't know how the one survived, but yeah, it's a buck that I shot in 2016.
Everybody wants to know how it fell off the wall. Drywall rip out?
I think it's
Did you miss
the
stud?
drywall anchors seemed to be
anchors,
loose.
yes.
And so then I went and got the drywall anchor. I'm getting so far afield.
No, I'm into
Oh,
it.
we need to
I
know.
put so much confidence into drywall anchors.
Same.
Well, the one that I moved to is the drywall anchor that's more cone shaped, that has the
like the threads.
on the outside, and not just one of those that sploots out and grabs the back.
I'm fully on the drywall anchor you're describing.
Yeah.
With the threads, and I feel like those are like I have 50-pound ones and 75-pound
Yeah,
ones.
no, they make
Oh,
some
like,
hefty ones.
Yeah, 500-pound ones. That's what's holding on to my elk. But I'm going to go double check those screws.
Yeah, and it's a wall. I've got like 9 different bucks all hanging on the same wall, and now it makes me want to take them all down and replace all the drywall anchors.
All right, I'm voting Josh, the dollar store decoy legs. Corey, you're voting.
I like the pool noodles.
Okay.
I like the decoy legs, and
what-
I think like anytime you can buy something real cheap, and it just adds to your experience in the field, like that's
Pool noodles.
Well, with 61% of the vote, the winner
Oh, I forgot that we weren't important.
No.
is Joshua Ross with the dollar store
Oh, my
decoy
goodness.
legs.
$100.
Congratulations, Josh.
I will
gift
say,
card.
if we're just going off vibes, Austin would have had my vote. I liked that guy's energy.
Randall is encouraging you to send another hot tip off, Austin, because your aura alone might just get you to win one of these.
Yeah, and if that's, I just wonder what else you got in the hopper. What else you got in the quiver there?
You have a lot of people yelling at you to just hit a stud when you're hanging and not use drywall anchors.
Well, sometimes they're not.
Well, not if you're doing a spread.
That's true.
This wall is incredible. It's just it's artistically, they're scattered across the wall.
Perfect.
So I just think you're wrong.
He doesn't have enough studs in his house for all
Yeah,
these.
you got too many studs.
Hey.
Not enough of the other kind.
Josh, if you're watching, I'll email you that gift card. Just be on the lookout for that.
Cool. Great work, gang. And now it's time for some listener feedback. Phil, what do we
It
got
is.
going on in the chat
Well,
today?
please shoot some more questions my way in the live chat, and we'll do this again at the end of the show. Nate asks, if the MeatEater crew were in the Hunger Games, who would win?
Cal.
I think I might be with you.
Can
there.
you win by not? I don't know how the rules work.
Well, PETA famously just like camouflaged himself and then laid next to a stump. Right?
that's what I picture.
and he-
that's
he-
what I
and
picture
you could
Cal
just,
doing.
like, go dormant.
He was really good at camouflaging himself because he was a pastry chef and decorated cakes. That is true lore in the Hunger Games.
Whoa.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, I was thinking if you had to score points by killing people, Cal might not be it. But I also thought Cal would be really good because he would just refuse to participate.
Yeah.
And he would just kind of sit on the sidelines.
He could go to the edge of the map, but then the overlords would like send wasps at him and,
That's
and
right.
drop like hit him with lightning or something.
Philip Seymour Hoffman would move the map around.
I'd give Cal a vote. He'd be very good at being uncomfortable in the Hunger Games experience.
And Steve, I think if you had to just go on who might kill the most people, it would probably be Steve.
yeah, he's just angry all
because
the
he
time.
loves to flip knives around.
No,
and,
yeah. He'd love an excuse.
yeah, I think he's just waiting for that green light.
I've had the same conversation, but not Hunger Games, but the show Alone. You know.
Yeah, I also think
Survivor
that's
style.
Cal.
Cal.
Because he just wouldn't want to come back. We're like, this is great. There's no phones.
Whatever it takes to stay
No one's
out here.
asking me to do anything.
Yeah, no one's bugging me about
Radio
bringing
Live.
a show and tell item to Radio Live.
Yeah. No, that'd be good.
What an experience.
Leland says, do y'all have any strong feelings on orange camo? Does it work, not work? Is it a bad compromise?
Orange camo.
I'm not passionate about this. If I was in a state where I was archery hunting during a gun season where it was required as an archery hunter that I had to wear camo, which I think is Illinois or Missouri, one of those states, I would be like, okay, I will wear orange camo. Outside of that, if you are gun hunting, if you are killing an animal that is further than 20 yards away from you, I'm not sold on needing to wear orange camo.
Good point.
I like how it looks, though.
It does look cool.
It looks cool. It looks like, you got that item from your dad who wore it in the 80s.
I also like the. I used to have an orange vest. I think when I moved out to Montana, that had like sort of the black tree bark print on
Yes,
it.
that's
that
what I
looked
think
tough. That looked tough. But yeah, I'm more of just an orange mesh and function guy.
Yeah.
In Montana here.
You're so broken up anyway. At least backpack straps, binocular harness. I don't know.
All my fixins.
Blood stains from last year.
Nate says, Spencer, how long till the next Wives and Girlfriends trivia episode? My wife loves them and wants more. Definitely some of the best episodes.
Yeah. I was just checking with my wife this week about dates that would work with her. Now I have to reach out to the other wives, but I will try to do one this year. It's our most viewed trivia episode in the history of YouTube. So if we need to juice the numbers, we'll just get all the wives and girlfriends in here because folks want to run over to YouTube and watch them play trivia. So we will do it again, Nate.
Excellent. Our household looks forward to that. What else we got, Phil?
Mogors says, hi. Steve hunted in Africa, Yanni in Lithuania. I would say, was he in Lithuania? Latvia. Do you have
Other
any
Baltic
Do you have
state.
similar dreams
Estonia.
or plans outside of the United States for hunting in the future?
Always wanted to kill a Siberian tiger. I don't know if that's legal, though.
You're not taking this question very seriously.
I want to hunt Canada real
Dreams.
bad. I want to hunt Alberta or Saskatchewan for a big old whitetail buck.
There you go.
Their laws make it hard to do that as a DIY hunter from the United States. You have to have a guide. Their guide regulations are fairly stingent about what your relationship with the guide can be, as far as if they drop you off, if they are within eyesight of you, if they pick the location where you're sitting. So while I feel like I have some connections to go hunt in Canada at some point, it wouldn't be with a guide in a traditional sense, and so I just don't want to even mess with it as a dude who prefers to just go do a DIY thing. But if I could kill a big old whitetail buck in Saskatchewan or Alberta, that would satisfy all my foreign hunting dreams.
There you go.
This is a dream, not a plan, because it won't happen. But I think if I were given the option of one international hunt, it would probably be an ibex in Central Asia.
Ooh, there you
Just
go.
in those giant, scary big mountains. That just looks like a super cool experience, and obviously you do it with a network of local guides and get to eat weird stuff and drink weird stuff and have a weird time.
All those guys are expert falconry folks, it seems like.
Yeah, no, it'd be cool. Africa also would be very cool. I got to go hunt in Old Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
So I am an
international hunter.
I guess I am an international hunter.
Dang.
Straighten the necktie on my T-shirt here.
That does look like a lot of fun.
Thank you, Mogor, for a great question.
One more. I have what I have deemed to be the whitetail time zone slam. Just like the traditional time zones, but there's one way east. Is it Nova Scotia that has it? It's in its own.
Would it be
time
maritime?
zone? I think it's maritime. So if I wanted to there's the Grand Slam of turkeys and then the Super Slam or whatever the tiered system is there. If I want to go to the next tier of the whitetail time zone slam, I need to get to Nova Scotia at some point or whatever is in that furthest eastern time zone.
I love that for you.
Someday.
Let's do it.
Someday.
Is that it for listener feedback, Phil? Should we move on?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. We can hit some more at the end of the show.
Sure, there's some other good ones in
Yeah,
there.
I got a couple started. There was one that, I'll just go ahead and bring it up now because you guys might plead the fifth on it, but this was for Cory. This was also from Nate. He said, what's the coldest tip anyone's ever submitted?
that's
I don't know
good.
if one stands out to you as wow, this is rough, but also if you don't want to hurt people's feelings, we're a very positive show.
No, you should name them.
Oh, man. There's a few that I certainly don't finish watching because it's like, this is either way too, out of reach, way too common, way too whatever. I don't think there's any cold ones because everybody brings the enthusiasm. If you have the time to film and send us an email, we're grateful. Warm enough.
Everybody's got a trick or two up their sleeve.
Keep them coming because it's kind of dry out there.
Get those hot tips in.
I wish I had an answer for you, but nothing jumps out that's ice cold.
Yeah, because otherwise we have to ask Giannis, and then he sends something that's, pretty cold. Let's be honest.
I've seen some of the hot tip submissions. I would say the coldest ones are ones that come in and I hear it and I'm like, I know you heard that on the MeatEater podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That thing that you're saying is a hot tip you heard from
Put
Steve
your binoculars on a tripod.
Yeah. So that was probably the coldest tips that we get.
Another great question. Jeez. Well, our next segment is MeatEater Movie Club. This week we're... I put the pause for sound in the wrong place.
We're live.
This week we're reviewing the 1997 American adventure comedy film directed by William Deere, written by David Michael Weger, and starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Devon Sawa, and Scott Bairstow. See, I think the sound would go better there.
Well, you also didn't name the movie yet.
Wild America. Thanks for putting that together, Cory. All right. This is the film, the cover of the film, the poster.
So serious.
It says, "Take a ride on the wild side," and it has our young heroes. Child actors don't get more coyly camera-wise than Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the 15-year-old star and narrator of Wild America, a tepid family adventure film whose grizzly bears appear only slightly more threatening than giant stuffed animals. As Marshall Stouffer, the youngest of three brothers growing up in Fort Smith, Arkansas in 1967, Thomas looks like a baby Brad Pitt and acts as though he's been born and brought up on the MGM lot in the 1930s, then whisks 60 years into the future with his Shirley Temple meets Mickey Rooney mannerisms intact. All three lead actors in the film have the kind of delicate looks that make Tiger Beat readers go humana humana, and their cute foxiness will have to be enough to drum up interest in this movie. Those very words were published in the New York Times on July 2nd, 1997, except for the second sentence, or the third, I should say, the one that mentions Tiger Beat. That's from a syndicated piece published in the St. Paul Pioneer Press the same day. I included those words here only because I thought they would be funny to pretend that they were my own.
Fooled me.
That fell flat. Jesus.
I liked it.
Hey.
The premise of the film is fairly straightforward. Three brothers, whose father has spent a lifetime lying to one of them about his ability to fly an airplane, decide to drive across the country in search of a cave full of hibernating bears. They do this, as best I can tell, in the middle of the summer. The oldest, Marty, is a maniacal bully dead set on making wildlife films so he doesn't have to suffer the indignity of inheriting the family carburetor cleaning business. The middle brother, whose name I do not recall, serves no real purpose. The youngest, played by Jonathan Taylor Thomas, I think was named Marshall.
Yes.
Their misadventures along the journey, most of which I'll admit from this review, are partially explained by how bad their map is. We only get a glimpse of it once, but it's a bad map, although it's hard to explain why it's so bad without a visual aid. At some point, a strangely proportioned moose carries Marshall into a river. The brothers encounter Danny Glover, who makes an uncredited appearance wearing antlers on his head. He tells them to go look for a disfigured woman whose dead fiancé was eaten in the bear cave. After the mean brother breaks the boring brother's leg as they take a tumble in the snow, and then that brother immediately forgives the other while still lying there in the snow with a broken leg, they then see a woman in the graveyard, and the youngest brother impressively remembers the disfigured woman's name as well as that of her dead boyfriend Judd, although she only refers to him curiously as my Judd. And he also remembers the date of his death, or was it his birthday, which also was the day they were going to get married, which stuck out to me as one of the stranger little details in this film. Anyway, they follow the tracks of the woman's horse to the bear cave, which is oddly close to her home. They go in, the bears wake up, and there's a lot happening all at once. Then the brothers sing about Mountain Dew to put the bears back to sleep when bats start shitting on them. The resulting explosion of their flashlight stirs up the bats, who seem to form part of the cave wall, so when they fly away, there is now a hole in the cave that lets in light that wakes up the bears. Why the boys don't try the Mountain Dew jingle again is not explained to the viewer because it worked so well the first time. Then there's actually another hole in the cave that the youngest brother climbs out of. It would seem that this cave would not be a very good place to hibernate due to all of the holes. Then someone else falls in the snow. And here my review gets scattered. The younger brother drives home and begins pretending he was in an airplane. While pretending he was in an airplane, he crashes the car. There's still 30 minutes left in the film, is the note I have here.
I had that same feeling.
Then there's another broken leg. The grumpy old dad breaks his leg too, but the kid's broken leg is healed now. And then the dad, who has a cigar in his mouth while bedridden in the hospital, tells the family that a guy in Pittsburgh will give them 6 bits apiece for some auto parts that represent the family's emergency savings. Jonathan Taylor Thomas fires up the plane that the dad pretended he could fly. But the kid can actually fly it, and he imagines his dad in the back seat. When they make amends with one another at the hospital, the boy tells the viewer in a voiceover that he's never told anyone what happened between him and his dad that day, which is odd because you'd think everyone could tell that they've forgiven one another. Describing this film made me like it less. Overall thoughts?
I don't need to see this movie again. I don't need to recommend this to anybody. I don't think I watched this when I was a kid.
Obviously not.
I would have been 5 years old when it came out. I'm a little surprised that I wasn't more familiar with anything about the movie, and then I watched it and I was like, well, that's why I wasn't familiar. Nobody was like really parading this around as a great piece of cinema from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you watch this as a kid, it doesn't have the same vibe.
It's there's a lot of elements that are difficult to believe in the film.
Can I tell you some things I liked?
I'd love to. That's next in my prompt here.
They had some real ass animals in the movie. Sometimes, which was like that
here and there.
Yeah, that's like a hard thing to do is have like the owl initially. I was like, oh, that's a real
Leona,
owl.
the
That's
owl.
kind of fun.
Yeah, landing on Jonathan Taylor Thomas's arm without a glove on.
That's right. And then it shows up in Valley of the Gods of Arizona later on.
Oddly.
I liked that the boys were filming Jackass 30 years before
thought that
Jackass
too.
was
I
a
thought
thing.
that
I was like,
too.
that should be the movie.
My thought at that moment was, God, it was so nice when like kids did this stuff and they couldn't put it on the internet, so it didn't become their entire personality.
Yeah, like the M80s in the pool.
Oh yeah.
Some good music. I liked, they had Susie Q by CCR. They had a Magic Carpet Ride. I just enjoyed the music they served me. And then I enjoyed the scene where the two older brothers are peeing upstream and Jonathan Taylor Thomas is filling his canteen downstream.
Yes.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And then he gave it to them to drink.
Yes.
And it was unclear, I thought, whether or not he was in on the prank.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And
I don't think they played that up enough.
No, it seemed like he was sort of cheeky about it.
Yeah.
He did know.
Yeah.
I liked that. That's the end of the list of the things I liked.
Corey?
This brought back some serious nostalgia. As
You
I
seen
watched
this?
It. Yeah, it came out in '97, so I would have been 9. Probably didn't watch it right away, but watched it, fairly quickly. And I watched it with my 7-year-old boy last night.
And he loved it.
There was scenes where I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like when JTT gets picked up by the moose, and it's very apparent that it's 2 dudes.
Yeah.
What, was it a horse? I couldn't tell if it was a horse or 2 guys.
There were 2 guys. There were 2 guys just sort of skipping, wearing a moose suit. There's one shot in particular where it's very clearly just 2 guys in a brown bag holding a moose head in front of them.
Yeah. And I was watching him. I looked over and looked at my son, Marshall, which was fun too.
Oh, yeah. He probably envisioned
extra
himself
special.
as the bullied younger brother.
Yeah, he loved hearing his name yelled a lot. And he's loving it. So, and I'm like rolling my eyes, and he's just like in heaven watching this. And then when it came to the cave of 1,000 bears or 10 bears or whatever it ended up being, same thing. Super cheesy. I don't know why or who came up with the idea to bring in the fake bear costumes when they had live bears.
Yeah, it was a weird mixture of robots and
taxidermy, animatronics, real bears.
It reminded me of this time.
CGI.
I went to a Chuck E. Cheese as an adult.
Yes.
And it was horrifying. I was like, how can a kid even withstand this overwhelming sensation of just being surrounded by robots popping out of the wall? But that's what it brought me back to.
Yeah. Well, but again, his imagination was able to follow and track the whole thing, and it was much more fun to watch as a kid, no doubt.
Yeah, I think if I were to have to show a movie to a child, this is not a bad one to show. Like there's nothing horrible about it. It's just like a series of sort of bizarre scenarios involving wildlife caught on film. And there's nothing offensive. It's just very campy. It reminded me of The Sandlot.
Yes.
In terms of the vibes. But I think for me, one of the things I like the best is it just harkens back to the golden age of older brothers bullying younger brothers, and no one seeming to have any, like they're tying him to a chair and then hoisting him into a tree and then cutting the rope and throwing fireworks on him. And it's unremarkable to everyone. Or they're dragging him around behind the truck. Although the
college girls
didn't like that. Yeah.
No, they weren't impressed.
And Danny Glover, I think, was probably my favorite part. But like, they shot a deer in the beginning of the movie. I mean, like
with a crossbow.
I was
in the summer.
Yeah, in the summer.
The college girls were home for Christmas or summer break.
Right.
And then the brothers declared, they say, you can't hunt with us, DC, if you're gonna do it the wrong way. Or something like that.
Yeah. And they're reading Outdoor Life. Like I think it was more true to like hunting and fishing nostalgia than I would have guessed. You know, like it wouldn't be made today in that same way.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, it was still sort of like, this is just traditional Americana.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot of things I found wrong with it, but ultimately, like, it's a harmless piece of cinema that if you have kids that like the outdoors, I think it would work.
Yeah, it's not for us.
Yeah.
It's not for us to be like, well, they got every single wildlife scene wrong in this movie.
Yeah.
They were in Valley of the Gods of Arizona, and they encountered like an Asiatic deer who's getting hunted by a big gray wolf.
Roe deer.
And then F4 Phantoms.
Oh.
And it was so funny because when the planes came in, I write down on my notepad F4 Phantoms, and then Jonathan Taylor Thomas, like 2 seconds later, goes, F4 Phantoms.
Wow. I bet you felt good there.
I mean, there was no doubt in my mind. It's such a distinctive silhouette of an airplane. But
Phil, I had slacked you a picture. Could you pull that up? When we were talking about the scene of the bears, I had to stop it in this one. I had to stop it because of the clearly like animatronic bear. But then also you see a cameraman or like a boom mic. You see someone who's not supposed to be in the shot holding something off to the side. That was a real treat to watch that.
That's wild.
They could have done without that. They were doing great.
I mean, I do, like The Sandlot sort of Stand By Me. It's also an age when like child actors are just sort of, there's no real depth to their performance. And the brothers are just like snapping at each other. And my favorite part was he goes, I'm sorry. I forgive you. I know it was an accident.
That was good.
After he breaks the leg. He does a great job tromping through the snow with that broken leg.
Yeah. And then the cast is gone.
Yeah.
Also, the crutches were so small.
Yes.
The doctor gives him the crutches, and they come up to his waist, and he's like, have you used crutches before? And I was like, have you given crutches to a patient before? Because these are clearly the wrong size.
And the bear scene, that was like climax 1 of 4. The movie had like 4 climaxes.
The alligator chase, the planes bombing them, the horse stampede, and then the weird scene with the disfigured woman where she pulls out like a portrait that was taken in the 90s at like a mall photo studio, even though this is taking place in 1967, which also bothered me because Steppenwolf's Born to Be Wild was not released until the following year.
Oh, snap.
I did
It's not a fair
also
criticism, though.
personally enjoy seeing DC in the movie, the redhead character, because he was in 2 episodes of Deadwood as the hotel clerk. And he becomes a very pivotal part of the story because he craps his pants because he was drunk, and he goes down to the creek to wash the crap out of his pants. And while he's there, he finds another pair of his pants that he theorizes he left there from a past drunk incident where he also crapped his pants and went to the creek to wash them out. And in one of his soiled breeches, he finds the last letter that Wild Bill Hickok ever wrote, which sort of like propels us into this new series of characters and bad guys. That's right. So that's a role that DC plays in my favorite show ever, Deadwood.
I just like that there's sort of a trope, thinking of a Christmas Story. There's this trope of a bully who's actually just sort of incompetent, but he's just a bully, and it's a guy with red hair.
Yes. I bet that hits hard.
Yeah, I'm kind
for
of like,
you.
God, maybe I'm not a unique individual. Clearly, I had a past life somewhere.
You were destined to be a bully.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but like Scott Farkas and that guy, I feel like came out of the same gene pool.
I could feel after this, my son and I will probably go down the Wild America Marty Stauffer rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, during the credits when they play actual footage from what I assume is Marty's documentary work, it's phenomenal. It was so charming. I loved that.
And he's in the film somewhere, I think.
Oh.
I think
I was
saw
watching for that, but I never saw him, and I was like, oh, there's Marty.
So I deleted this line, or I shouldn't say I deleted it, I just didn't read it. It said, if you like The Sandlot, if you like Forrest Gump, if you like Wild Animals or Danny Glover, you'll enjoy this lighthearted romp. If you like Marty Stauffer, you probably won't like this film because it makes him seem like a really bad guy.
Yes.
I've never seen a story that's like the true story of this beloved figure.
Yeah.
And the guy who's playing him is just sort of like the asshole.
He's the older brother. Got to be tough on
Yeah,
your
but
younger brothers.
he's not. I don't feel like he's really redeemed.
Yeah. Or if your name is Marshall and you're 7 years old,
Yes.
you'll love this movie.
Exactly.
It might become a
Absolutely.
little bit of your personality.
You got to watch
Absolutely.
out for those late 90s PG movies because there's a few curse words in there, which he looked at me after every single one.
That's good.
But if you watch this show, you're used to that.
Yeah, that's good. He needs exposure.
Oh, he gets plenty of it. He listens
Going
to
into
Macklemore.
second grade, he's going to be using profanity like a pirate. How we doing, Phil? Should we move on to the next segment, or do you need more information about Wild America?
I think I'm satisfied.
Phil, can you tell me something about Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Just anything, like what your memory is of him in the 90s? He would be in like a child actor tier of Topanga, maybe Keenan.
Oh, Jonathan Lipnicki, he was big back then. I mean, JTT, not because he, unlike Lipnicki, he was a heartthrob too. No offense to Lipnicki, but he had that. I mean, that whole Tiger Beat, Waka Waka, whatever you said over there.
Humana.
Hamina. The Waka Waka is Fozzie Bear.
Haley Joel Osment, he'd be like in that tier, I feel like, of 90s child star.
Well, I mean, JTT had trouble breaking out of TV, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
Home
guys,
Improvement.
Well, Tom and Huck.
Oh,
yeah,
he played
I
Tom
liked
Sawyer.
Tom and Huck.
I just think it's unconscionable that we've been talking about JTT this whole time without acknowledging the cultural masterpiece that is Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he's joined by another 3 named child stars, Zachary Ty Bryan, on that show, who's the doofus with the blonde hair.
Let's not forget JTT was Simba. in
That's
The
right.
Lion King.
That's right, yeah. And God, he does look like a illegitimate child of Brad Pitt, doesn't he? That's not my thought. That's just
Because Devin Sawa also had big Teen Beat energy. I think they like this movie. The casting was definitely, I think, purposeful in trying to get those 13-year-old girls
Devin
to the theater.
Phil, has everybody dropped out of the chat?
Oh no,
we haven't
we've got
lost
it.
anybody in our
No,
discussion of
I think
of
our
teen stars.
viewership is actually at its peak right now.
Oh God, God,
Better keep this going.
that's good. Let's roll on into the top 3.
See, wouldn't it be cool if we just had like a light show going on?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
This is why we need a new studio. Because people who are just listening to this, they're probably like, okay, I'll sit through this stupid song for 15 seconds. But people who are watching are just watching Randall, Spencer, and Corey stare at their computers.
Well,
Sorry.
I used to do the dance thing. You know, I used to dance along, and I feel like that bit has run its course. And I like to just enjoy the music.
Okay, I get that.
I don't have any text prepared to introduce this segment, but top 3 is where we rank our top 3 of things in a certain category. Although we're doing a new spin on that today where we each got to choose our own category.
Yes. In the past, we were all ranking from the same thing, and then Giannis and I about went to fisticuffs over a topic, and so we said, here's the solution. We're all just going to bring our own list from our
Freestyle.
own subject. That's
Yeah.
right. Phil included. Phil is going to do one.
That's right.
And I asked him to really fill it up today, so I'm excited to hear whatever he has.
And I really struggled with this assignment. I like to have clear orders, marching orders. So Phil, you can bring up my number 1 or my number 3.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hope this works for Phil. Oh,
So
good.
this is my number 3, and I had a hard time going back.
What's your
and forth.
list?
Yeah, what's the
Well, that's
title?
I'm getting
he's
to
gonna
it. I'm
reveal
getting to it. I was going to go with my favorite fishing hats of all time, and so I started going through my list, my photos of fishing, and then I thought I could sort of combine that with the 3 worst photos of me holding a fish.
Hey.
So this is a photo of me floating the Missouri River breaks in the summer of 2008, and I'm going to go with the why it's a bad picture. The shirt is terrible. It's a terrible fishing shirt. I got it at Bass Pro Shops. I think I wore it on that trip, and it's filled with clay, gumbo, mud. My eyes are closed, which also makes it a bad picture. On the good side, I love that hat. It's a Bass Pro Shops camo hat in a mossy oak pattern of some sort.
Walking billboard for Bass Pro.
Yeah.
Holding a bass.
Cincinnati Kid. When that thing opened, you couldn't get me off I-275. But that hat I wore for a number of summers staining decks for a company called Pro Clean. And so it is covered. I never liked to bring the rags when I start out. I'd get the roller and the brush, never bring a wiper. So I started wiping my deck stain with that hat. So that hat ended up weighing like 3 pounds.
Okay.
It was solid. You could have taken a knife and it wouldn't go through the fabric. It was just coated with layer upon layer upon layer of deck stain.
Really nice and breathable for a summer fishing
Oh,
day.
it was incredible. It was incredible.
More of a helmet.
And then the final note I have on why this picture's bad is I'm just really fat in it. And it's a bad angle for my cheeks and neck.
I can't tell.
I don't think so.
It's the pocket in that shirt that makes it look like, and you obviously have
clearly
a wad
there's
of
probably
sunflower seeds.
there's probably a can of Grizzly Wintergreen in there.
Oh, could be.
But yeah, the eyes closed. Stupid haircut. I couldn't grow a beard yet. I've been hiding. I've spent the rest of my life hiding from that version of me.
Nice Smalley though.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great trip. Every island we hit would pull the boat over and get to the tail of the island and just chuck like rattle traps and stuff and hammered smallmouth, and it was a great trip.
Randall's his favorite person to
Is doubting your own worth. Picture number 2.
Yes.
This I couldn't get.
This isn't a bad picture at all. I
No.
love this.
Well, there's 2 things about it that make it bad.
illegal.
One is that I'm making the same face as the fish, and then 2, my sweatshirt looks like the fish.
Okay.
So I don't think there's nearly enough contrast in there. But this also, that hat is a Carhartt beanie.
Okay.
I still own it today. I've probably owned it for almost 20 years.
You're probably the reason Carhartt hats are back in style now.
Well, probably not. That thing's so stretched out, there's not an ounce of elastic to it. Just pulled it over this head so many times. But I do like that photo. We were catching burbot on jugs, on fixed lines, like limb lines and jugs.
Jugging, eh?
And got back to the lodge and made ourselves a nice little burbot dinner, I think the day before I flew out that summer.
I love that
Working
photo.
up in Alaska.
That's a good one.
A lot of synergy going on there with making the same face as a fish, wearing the same pattern as a fish. It works.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just had to include it. And then the last one, Phil, if you'll indulge me here.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Oh, wow.
Ugly. That's a real ugly fish. That's a spawned out male pink salmon. Big old dip in my lip so that my face is crooked to the right side, and then the hat is offset to the left side there.
What year is this?
That's probably 2010, 2009. We bought those Mountain Dew hats at the Walmart in Wasilla, Alaska. One time we were driving out to go to the lodge, and before we got on the boat, we stopped at Walmart, and we all bought matching Mountain Dew hats and wore them for summer. So that was also a hat.
There you go.
Part of my collection. But
right.
I mean, the face is weird. The glasses are weird. It's sort of that old style of glasses that was more like a swim goggle. And then the hair poking out the sides of the hat is just a bad look all around.
I like that.
So, plus it's a gross spawned out humpy.
That's a good picture.
That's what I got.
You should post that on Instagram, Randall. That would do some numbies.
Oh, I showed Cory a little bit of the archive. I've got some I got some weird ones.
Yeah,
Bad
that was
fishing pictures.
Probably
Yeah.
really tough to pick the top 3.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, between
Yeah.
Randall's drummies and Spencer's numbies, I'm having a really hard time hanging.
And Randall's awards, the Randies.
The Randies, yep.
Nice.
Well, that concludes my top 3. Top 3
Very good.
fishing hats I've owned / top 3 worst pictures I've taken with a fish.
Very good.
Who's next, Randall?
Corey's next.
Oh, okay. Well, this is not going to be nearly as fun, but I'm proud of these. This is my top 3 favorite hunting camp meals that I enjoy making for a group of buddies. If I'm going hunting solo, I'll eat whatever freeze-dried meals. But if I got a group of buddies, day 4, day 5 into a hunt, I like to make something big and scrumptious. You know. Let's see. So my number 3, I hope I have this in the right order, would be Campfire Nachos.
Oh.
And this photo, if you're watching, is some pulled bear meat. I believe it came off the rear shank of a black bear I killed a couple years ago. This cooked in a Dutch oven. You just throw everything in, all your nacho toppings, throw the lid on, put some coals on top of it. You could do it on the stovetop too, but it works. It's a lot more fun over a fire. Let the cheese melt, let the meat reheat. And then you can go on top with your pickled jalapenos, your salsas, your tomatoes, what have you. Very easy. It's usually a crowd pleaser. You just stick that in between your chairs and just go.
Oh, man, that is a good one.
Pretty photo. Martha Stewart would put that on her cover.
Well, that's why I took the picture. Okay, that was number 3. Number 2, I've copied Jean-Paul Bourgeois' duck and andouille pastelaya recipe, which you can find on the MeatEater website, actually. I butchered the name, so sorry, Jean-Paul. But I don't duck hunt, so I use multiple different types of red meats in this one. I've made it years in the past. If you're watching, here's a photo of me whipping this up for Giannis and another friend of ours, Mike, on an archery elk hunt a couple years ago. It's very hearty, extremely easy to make. I'm using the same Dutch oven, actually. It's a GSI aluminum Dutch oven that's with me anywhere I go. It's usually just in the back of my truck. But it's got noodles. It's got multiple types of meat, andouille sausage and whatever, pulled meat. His recipe calls for duck. But again, I've done bear. I think I've done mule deer. It's a pulled meat variety. You cook all that down with some mushrooms, some onions, some garlic, and then you add a little base of some sort. Bouillon cube and water if you have to.
How does this picture relate to it?
Thank you for bringing that up, because after that meal, this is the next day, I called this bull in for Yanni, whether he wants to admit it or not, and he shot this thing at 45 yards.
You fed him and you called in his bull. That's basically your elk, Corey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but this is that was a memorable hunt, and we had some full bellies. That was probably at 7 p.m., and I bet we were still well fed and comfortable at that point the next day. But I mean, make that pastelaya. I should have looked this up how you say it, and look what can happen to you.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
Good vibes from that stuff.
That was number 2. Number 1 is walking tacos.
Ooh.
Did you take this photo?
No, it is not my photo. I stole it off of Google Images. Hopefully they're not watching. But I wish I would have taken the photo, because last weekend my wife and I and our neighbor couple took out our families on a camp float on the Yellowstone, and this was our meal that we made. It's so easy. We actually heated up some ground elk burger and threw it in with. We had a plethora of choice chips for the kids to choose from, and then we had all the toppings laid out. So if you have picky eaters, if you have folks who don't want lettuce, don't want a certain type of chips, whatever, you can just make it on your own, and it's your own little bag of goodness. You just make sure you bring a fork with you, because it's very simple. Takes up some space.
Do you use the nacho cheesers, or do you like to vary your base?
I like the Cool Ranch.
Yeah, I mean that's the only
bag.
civilized Dorito out there.
I believe the original would be Fritos, but you can go wild. You got to go to the gas stations to get the medium-sized bag of chips. That's the big bags, not the
hot tip.
bags.
I had a couple critiques of your list there, and one of the ones was that the walking nachos wouldn't be good unless you had a giant bag of chips.
The medium bag.
Yeah.
From the gas station.
Yeah.
Nobody in a group would be disappointed to see Corey making walking tacos in camp.
Jeez.
Pretty scrumptious.
Good number 1.
Thank you.
All right, it's my turn, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
This is a well-organized segment.
I'm going to turn my computer off.
It's good. So my top 3 are the top 3 video game characters that would taste good after a few hours on the smoker.
Oh, all right. Perfect.
So
It's a beautiful.
So first off, we have the Rat King from The Last of Us Part 2. There are some pros and cons to these. I'm not going to say these would all be perfect, but the pros of the if for those who are listening and don't know, the Rat King is like a big kind of squishy zombie monster made up of a bunch of different cordyceps monsters that were, infected by this brain virus that turned them all into crazy mushroom people, and then those came together to make this abomination. Pros. Would feed a whole family for months.
Yes.
Basically like harvesting a moose, but probably more meat.
Yeah, look at all the shanks.
It looks like there's a lot of bone in it too, though, with all of the limbs.
Yeah, I mean, we would be diving into uncharted territory here. We'd be doing a lot of, experimenting, exploration. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
you
let's not
see these
overthink
kind of like fat pockets, these pustules there.
Cut around that.
Still a lot of food. Another pro already has a nice char on it after dispatching it with a flamethrower. So you're already you're kind of halfway there.
Sure.
Con, you may contract a cordyceps brain infection, which is not ideal. But there are risks with everything.
So maybe just smoke it to 170?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just get that temp up, you're probably okay.
You're probably fine.
My familiarity with the Rat King is Dennis Duffy telling Liz Lemon on 30 Rock about the Rat King and how it's all the rats in the subway system that have fused together to create the Rat King.
Ooh, spooky.
This is kind of a deep cut. The next one is going to be the Orphan of Kos from Bloodborne.
Whoa.
As we all know, let's say it together. The Orphan of Kos is the stillborn child of an eldritch god that was worshipped by fishermen.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sure.
Now, this one might be confusing you if you're watching at home
very
because you can
confused.
see that the actual humanoid figure here doesn't look too appetizing, mostly skin and bones. But he famously uses his placenta as his weapon. You can see him holding it right here.
Yes.
I think I would want to put that placenta on the smoker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pros, so he is a stillborn child of an eldritch god. Who knows what kind of sort of supernatural, cosmic, eldritch powers you might inherit by consuming his placenta. But, as we know from Giannis, the placenta is filled with nutrients like iron and B12, and also is not rumored, there's no evidence, we'll call it a rumor, that it helps the mother recover after birth when you consume the placenta. Cons, you could be trapped in a nightmare plane of existence from consuming the blood
This is
of
going in
a god offspring.
totally different direction than I thought.
And then
number two.
That's number 2. Number 1 is Yoshi.
I was about to make the joke. I was about to make this very joke, Phil. I'm glad you got us back here.
Yoshi, of course, the dinosaur mount from the Super Mario franchise. Pros of eating Yoshi: he eats a clean diet of sweet apples. That's the only thing he eats. I don't know how that would affect the meat, tenderness, flavor, mouthfeel. But how about animals that are fed like a clean vegetarian diet, right? That's probably what you want.
A bear hunter like Cory would tell you that a bear who's been eating berries is far superior to a bear that's been eating
dirty
rotting
diapers.
fish.
That's right.
Yep.
I do wonder, with all the Goombas and the Koopa Troopas that he eats and regurgitates, if that would mess with anything.
No, he's not actually processing.
Right. You wonder if that would.
He kind of spits them out. Sometimes they spits them out into an egg. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, Phil, I thought you were going to go with like Sonic the Hedgehog and
Well, see, there's some cheats here
Diddy
because
Kong.
there are some Pokemon that just are food. Like there's a Pokemon that's just an apple pie with legs, and that's kind
Really?
of cheating. I'm not going to do
What's
that.
the name of the is it Blanca, the character from Street Fighter?
Oh yeah, the big
That'd
dude.
be a good one too.
Yeah.
What are the cons, Phil, of eating Yoshi?
There are no cons.
No cons. He's listed.
You don't have to listen to him just jabber on like whatever the hell he says.
This has been a delightful mashup.
I do have some
and
honorable
Phil's
honorable
imagination.
mentions here. Of course, the Metroid from Super Metroid,
Banjo-Kazooie.
both Banjo and Kazooie, and the raccoon Tom Nook from Animal Crossing.
Of course.
He's a piece of shit landlord who's always trying to squeeze you for everything you're working for.
That's great.
And he's plump. He'd have some good cuts of meat on him.
Exactly, and I raccoons Clay would be excited. We can invite him to the cookout.
Pretty good.
Awesome. Good call.
Oh, Phil, you're a real gem.
That was perfect, Phil. You filled it up as much as I was
filled it
hoping
up.
you
I'll
would.
I love to
cue
fill
you
it
up,
up.
Spencer. Here, you're last.
I'm last. Apologies in advance. I'm going to take this very seriously. My list is the top 3 state game agency logos. So once I pulled all 50, then I was like, well, I now have an obligation to myself to do this right and make a critical judgment on who has done this the best.
Good.
So please pull them up, Phil.
All
right, number 3 here is Alabama. Alabama's logo is just so authentic. I'd say it's like the most authentic game agency logo. It looks like it was designed in 1989 by a guy who hunts deer and owns a bass boat. It looks vintage, like your dad would be part of a hunting club that had this exact logo on a hat that you would like fight your brother for in the will. I would want to own a hat with that patch on it.
I want a nylon windbreaker, green nylon windbreaker. With
Exactly. Now it's not even good design work. Like no professional would produce this logo today, but that's also what makes it so dang cool. I love it. I see this logo and I'm like, yep, that's Alabama. That's what they're all about. Whitetails, largemouth bass, and a patriotic bald eagle. Freedom. So Alabama is my number 3, specifically the Alabama Wildlife and Freshwater Fisheries Division. That's my number 3.
The eagle was well placed, too. It looks like he's just about to snag that bass out
That's
of the
right.
air.
All right, number 2. Number 2 is Alaska, the Alaska fishing game. Alaska's logo is really aesthetically pleasing. The color scheme of baby blue and turquoise, it's just super unique. It feels very Alaska to me, and it has a lot going on while still being balanced. You've got a salmon, you've got a caribou, there's a large bird that looks like it's either a swan or a goose, so they've covered land, air, and water. But to me, the real star of the show are the actual stars. They have the Big Dipper and the North Star in the logo, both of which are correctly placed for how they appear in real life. And this is also a nice nod to their flag, which is just the Big Dipper and the North Star. It's not a coincidence that Alaska has one of the best state flags and one of the best game agency logos. I wish Montana's state flag was that cool instead of just being the seal.
You know, it was created with a competition among school children to design the new state flag.
In Alaska?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I love that little wrinkle. Good for Alaska. Their logo, it's just perfect, and their flag is awesome. If I lived in Alaska, I would fly that flag everywhere. It would be a core part of my personality. It'd be on my house. It would be in my office. Good on Alaska. They crushed it.
Nicely done.
All right, number 1. If you've listened to trivia since the beginning, this will be no surprise, but it is Missouri. I've made this declaration before, and I'll say it again. Missouri has the best game agency logo in the country. I like that it's the only state with a triangle logo. It's one of 2 logos that has a raccoon, the other being Tennessee. It's one of 7 logos that has a bass, and I would say that looks specifically like a smallmouth, in which case it would be one of 2 states that has a smallmouth, the other being Indiana. And it's also the only logo with an oak leaf. I just really appreciate that Missouri is giving a nod to a raccoon and an oak tree. In fact, I think it'd be stronger if they just got rid of that bass in there, but I won't be too picky. And similar to what I liked about Alaska and Alabama, it just feels very authentic to Missouri. It works. It's the perfect logo for that state.
I mean, but
You
a triangle?
have an argument?
A triangle, really?
Well, if every state had a
What is this,
triangle,
Star Trek?
it would be different. But them being the state with a triangle logo, good on Missouri for having something unique.
Gotcha.
I like it. That's my number 1.
I won't. No complaint.
I have some honorable mentions, though, that we'll get to here. Vermont, the Vermont Department of Fish and Wildlife. Vermont's logo, it feels like a family crest that English royalty would have. It's the oldest looking logo of all the state game agency logos. It seems like it should be on a suit of armor that a knight is wearing. I really like what Vermont has going on there. Then there's the Pennsylvania Game Commission. I love that it has what appears to be a muskrat hut in it. I love that it has their state flower, the mountain laurel, that's represented. But what's really satisfying is that the whitetail buck there is a 2.5-year-old 8-pointer. It's not an aspirational 180-inch booner made for the cover of magazines. It's just a standard buck that is barely graduated from being a basket rack. And this is the type of deer that I just associate with the big woods of that part of the country that gets killed by a lot of folks. So I really like Pennsylvania's logo. And then the other honorable mention here is the Delaware Division of Fish and Wildlife. Delaware's logo is famously weird. It's a Canada goose and what I believe is a weak fish, and they're positioned in such a way that it looks like the goose is carrying the weak fish. I just like how absurd that logo is, and it's so bad that it's good. Now, sadly, that logo was replaced in 2021 by a new logo that's very sterile and forgettable. The new logo just looks like it'd be for a city parks department. It sucks. So Delaware went backwards with that logo change.
It looks like an anti-pollution initiative.
It does.
My first reaction to the original one is that it looks like they started with just the fish in there, and they're like, "Shit, there's a lot of empty space. Can we just chuck something in there? But don't change the placement or the size of the fish, for God's sake.
It's crucial.
Just
We're on
make the second
timeline.
thing go over it."
So it has a Canada goose carrying a weak fish, which just tickles me. So those are the top game agency logos: Missouri, Alaska, Alabama.
That was fun.
Well done. Well done.
We should probably do that again.
Yeah, I like that. I think the come up with your own category is a real winner. It's a winning segment, if you will. Well, Phil, it's time we dive back into that strange world that is the chat. Let's see what
We've come to that part of the
see
show.
what folks have had to say about this madness.
Get some more questions in. We only have a couple right now, and I will read one of them now. Jackson says, Randall, if you could bring back a historical figure to life and go on a backwoods hunting trip with them, who would it be, and what would you hunt for?
Oh, cool question.
This might take some thought here for a second. You can talk through it.
I'll answer a different version of this question. A person who's not dead that I'd like to fish with, Jeremy Wade. I love Jeremy Wade. I just respect everything about his show and how he fishes. I watched every episode when I was a kid all the way through college. Big fan of Jeremy Wade.
Man,
But Randall's bringing someone back from the dead and hunting with
I'm
them.
struggling here. I'm really struggling.
Too many people.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the obvious one's TR, but then I'm like, I don't know. Is he a nice guy? Like, what's it like sharing a camp with him? He's a large man. Wouldn't share a tent.
You need a lot of bags of chips.
Boy, I mean, I feel like I've lost all my momentum with this question.
Might have to come back to
Jackson, I'm
We
going to
can
think
move
about
on.
this. Let's move on for 1
We
second.
can come back to it. Just to make the people
Oh, it
upstairs
froze.
happy.
God, it's embarrassing.
We're live.
One piece of First Light gear. What would it be if you could only have one?
Whoa.
But we can have like the other clothes on and stuff that we'd wear. Like
I
just
think,
other
I think
brands'
that's
pants.
kind of,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
insinuating.
Favorite piece of
I'd go. I know what it is. It's the Chamberlain jacket. It's like it's like a sleeping bag. Don't own another jacket that's that warm. And for hunting big game in the West and just glassing somewhere in the wind or sitting on a mountaintop when it's early November, Chamberlain jacket goes with me everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm still in summer mode, so I'm thinking about my favorite things from First Light in summer. Number one, I've worn it all spring and all summer, is the Flash Storm jacket. That is their lightweight raincoat. It's 6.5 ounces. It performs really well in rain. It's also light enough that I'll throw it on if the bugs are bad, if I need to keep mosquitoes off of me. I am a huge fan of that Flash Storm, and it's cheap as far as raincoats go. It's listed at $185 right now. If I had $185 to spend at First Light, that's what I would spend it on. That's like going to be my go-to raincoat for a long, long time. Big fan.
Gosh. I don't know if anybody's in this room has tried our new socks, but they're pretty bomber. Got to have a good pair of socks. Our midweight merino sock over the calf, so there's no
Good
slipping.
pair of socks is mission critical.
Yep. We have great jackets, great pants, great underwear.
You're taking this too far.
I'm wearing their underwear right now.
Wash out.
What do we got, Phil?
I don't remember. I'm just trying to avoid the dumb questions for me. So I don't remember if you guys specifically have talked about this, but for the MeatEater crew, what hunts do you have planned for the fall? Some of you might have shared, because I think I've asked this before, but I think Brody was there. It might have been somebody else, but
I've got standard Montana general tags. I've got a Montana pronghorn tag, and I've got I'm going to do a mule deer hunt in Idaho. And that should keep me busy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy little mid-October, November stretch there.
Congrats on the pronghorn tag. Those are hard to come by these days.
Well, we struck out last year, so the Williams family, I feel like we weren't owed, but I feel like it was, I spent a lot of time thinking about the next pronghorn tag, and now it's here, you know.
It worked.
Yep.
I haven't drawn pronghorn 3 years in a row now.
Damn.
They don't give them to Montana natives anymore.
Yeah.
I was like,
Why would they?
I just have general deer and general elk. Oh, and I do have an extra cow tag this year. So
Oh,
if all goes well, it'll
lovely.
be an overflowing freezer by Thanksgiving.
That's exciting. Now, Spencer's got a lot.
I have deer tags in 5 states: Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Illinois.
Wow.
So my first deer hunt will be early October in Idaho, and my last deer hunt will be early to mid-December in Illinois, with my other 3 states between there. Very excited.
Phil?
Without giving away any episodes of MeatEater trivia that might have been filmed already, Lance says, as a randomal, I need to know what's up with the trivia slump.
Lance Williams.
Well, Lance, there's a short answer and there's a longer answer. The short answer would be everybody's got a bad day or two here or there, and sometimes they string together 5-6 weeks in a row. The longer answer is that the past month and a half we've been working to finish up the next audiobook, and my entire faculties, mental, physical, have all been depleted significantly. So rest assured, the old doctor's back on his horse, so stay tuned. Now that project's wrapped up, I think we're going to get back in the swing of things.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Randall was injured, but now he's at full health again.
Well, not quite full health. I'm
Okay.
39 years old and sliding to the grave. Maybe head first, but, we're doing what we were doing a couple months ago.
He's back.
Are you guys archery guys in here?
Nope, not at all.
Cory is. There's a question a while ago. It was pretty basic. It was basically like single pin versus the
Multi-pins.
multi-pins.
Sure.
If you have a preference, because they were saying that adjusting pins when you're drawn or you're trying not to distract or anything like that would that be a problem? Is that a problem for you?
Well, I've used them both for sure, and single pin just gets you into trouble more. Taking that extra second to have to move your hand up to your sight to dial in to adjust that one single pin can be that half second that you need to be a little faster. So I have 4 pins that I don't adjust at all. Just aim and shoot.
Beautiful.
Got to be quick.
There's also hybrids. If you're torn, you could get a 3-pin where your top one is the floater that you would dial with, and your other 2 are fixed. And so you have fixed yardages out to, say, 20, 30, 40. And then if you have to go beyond that, then that's when you would dial.
Yep. To each their own on that one.
We can wrap it up there, but just I didn't mean to say the dumb questions people ask me. Like the questions are dumb. It makes me uncomfortable to address them.
You don't want to talk about demon
obfuscate.
Demon stillbirth again?
I would talk about that all day if I had the opportunity, but I don't think I do. But just to fire him off, Leland, I see you. I hear you. The Red Dead Redemption stream is still TBD. It is happening. I don't know. When am I going to play Dungeons and Dragons with the people here? I will force multiple people in this room to play D&D with me soon.
I've been asking you to do that.
You're going to have no choice.
Yeah, the tables have turned from Phil requesting us to play to us requesting him to host the game. It's going to happen.
Yeah, we will find, just as a sneak peek of something you may never see, we're going to find out once and for all what happened to Steve's fish. I'll leave it at that.
Very good.
And that's pretty much it. If you guys, this is a good show. This is a hefty show.
Man, I feel like we could sort of had a thin lineup, but we really squeezed all the juice out of each segment. It was a rich text that I'm sure will go down in this podcast history.
Yep.
That was a great show.
Well, gang, thanks for joining. Always a pleasure. And Phil, thank you. Cory, Spencer, thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Bye now.